Hello everyone, myself Devashish Das, Assistant Professor of Electronics Communication Engineering Department of Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management. In this video, we are going to study about the different topics of analog electronics and its applications, how the analog electronics apply in our different fields of electronics. In this video we are going to study about it, different circuits and its part we are explaining one by one in this topic. Analog electronics. This course is mainly for BTech students of electrical engineering of third semester. The paper code is PCEE 301. Hello, welcome to another session of my video lecture. In this session, we'll mainly discuss on the transistor. First, we discuss about the transistor, that means introduction to transistor. Then we discuss the classification of the transistor. Then we discuss the constructions of transistor, that means in our syllabus it is the BJT. Then we discuss the band diagram of transistor. Then we discuss the transistor configurations, what are different types of configuration are used in the transistor. Then we discuss the operation of the transistor. So let us begin. First comes the transistor. The transistor means a transform resistor. That means the resistivity of the transistor can be changed with the help of some control signal. In this picture we can see a different types of transistor. We will discuss later on. So first comes the semiconductor material. It is the p-type semiconductor material where boron is the trivalent element. That means it has a 3 electron at its outermost shell. The 3 electrons are being made a covalent bond with the silicon. That means it is a pure semiconductor silicon, and boron act as a dopant in the silicon and it produces the hole as a carrier and make a p-type semiconductor. On the other hand, here we can see antimony, which has a 5 electrons at its outermost shell and it acts as a pentavalent element and it produces a free electron in case of n-type semiconductor. That means if we use this antimony as a dopant in a pure semiconductor, that is silicon, we can produce a n-type semiconductor. In this way, p-type and n-type semiconductor are being used to build up a transistor. So first we discuss BJT. Beside diodes, the most popular semiconductor device is transistor. That means in our syllabus we discuss here the bipolar junction transistor, that means a BJT. Transistors are often said to be the most significant invention in 20th century. If cells are the building blocks of life, transistors are the building blocks of digital revolution. Without transistor, the technological wonder you used every day, that means here we can see a cell phone, a computer, a car, would be vastly different if they exist at all. The transistors are more complex and can be used in many ways. Most important features can amplify the signals and act as a switch. These two are the very important thing. Transistor can be used as amplifier or as a switch. In most of the digital cases, the transistor used as a switch, and in case of analog electronics, it can be used as a amplifier, maybe a power amplifier or signal amplifier or current amplifier. There are different types of amplifier. The transistor is being used. Amplifications can make weaker signal to stronger in general provides function called gain. So first, transistor discovery. In mid of 1940s, a team of scientists worked for Bell Telephone Lab in Mary Hill, New Jersey, were working to discover a device to replace them present vacuum tube technology. Vacuum tubes were the only technology available at the time of amplify signals or serve as a switching device in electronics. The problem was that they were expensive, consume a lot of power, give off too much of heat, and were unreliable, causing a great deal of maintenance. These are the drawbacks of the vacuum tube. You can see here is a vacuum tube which is act as a transistor in the earlier days, but later on the transistor replace those vacuum tube. Here we can see the classification of the transistors, how the transistors are being classified. There are different types of transistors. They are mainly classified into three categories: point contact transistor, which is used in the earlier days or at the beginning era of the transistor. Then comes the BJT, the bipolar junction transistor, and after that the FET or the field effect transistor. The BJT or the bipolar junction transistor can be classified into two categories. One is NPN transistor and another is PNP transistor. These two are the category of the BJT. One is PNP transistor, another is NPN transistor. And the field effect transistor or FET can be classified into two categories. One is junction gate field effect transistor or JFET, another is metal oxide silicon field effect transistor or the MOSFET. Again, the JFET can be classified into two categories: N channel JFET and P channel JFET, and the MOSFET can be classified into two categories: depletion type MOSFET and enhancement type MOSFET. And depletion type MOSFET can be classified N channel and P channel, and enhancement MOSFET can be also classified into N channel and P channel. In this way, the transistor can be classified in several parts or several types. So we are going to discuss mainly on this topic, the BJT. But before going to the BJT, let's have a see how the point contact transistor was look like. So this is a first transistor invented, which was a point contact transistor. The point contact transistor was the first type of solid state electronics transistor ever constructed. It is discovered in December 1947 in the Bell laboratory. We'll discuss. It is the pictorial representation of the point contact transistor, where some metal plates were there and some type of semiconductor was there and some metal contact. That means a point is contact with the semiconductor, and in this we will discuss it part in our coming slide. It's hang up on a spring. Here you can see a spring is hanging up and holding the device with the help of a spring. So it is the holding spring. A transistor has three terminals. One is emitter, one is base, another is collector. The emitter terminal emits the majority carriers, the collector terminal collects the carrier, and base is the control terminal of the transistor, where the current or the carrier flow can be controlled from the emitter to collector with the help of base. Germanium was used to build this solid state device and make it amplification of the device. So in this way a point contact transistor was built up. So now we are going to discuss about the bipolar junction transistor, or the BJT. It is the most useful transistor in recent world also. So for discuss the BJT. BJT is a bipolar device because the both hole and the electron were take part in the current flow through the device. That is why it is called the bipolar device. It is the very important thing, because BJT is called the bipolar device due to the conduction take place due to the both electron and hole. That is why it is called the bipolar device. N-type region contains free electrons, P-type region contains free holes. Two types of BJTs are there. One is NPN transistor, another is PNP transistor. The transistor regions are, there are three regions, or the three terminals are present in the BJT or bipolar junction transistor. One is emitter, which send the carriers into the base region, and then on the collector. The base region as a control region, it can allow none or some of, or may carry to flow, carrier to flow. And the collector region, the collector collects the carrier. These three terminals are present in the BJT: emitter, base, and the collector. We will discuss. These are the two types of BJT. One is NPN, another is PNP. Here you can see a structure and symbolic representation or schematic representation of the BJT. It is the PNP BJT, where N is the base, which is a sandwich between the two P region, P-type material, and it is the NPN transistor, where P-type base is sandwiched between the two N-type region. Here you can see a schematic diagram of a PNP transistor, and it is the schematic diagram of a NPN transistor. So we'll discuss about the transistor. A transistor has three doped region for both type. The base is a narrow region sandwiched between the larger collector and emitter region. The emitter region is heavily doped, and its job is to emit carrier into the base. The base region is very thin and lightly doped. Most of the current carriers injected into the base pass on the collector. The collector region moderately doped, and it is the largest of the three region, because collector region collects all the carriers coming from the emitter, and it's collect. So here you can see two main things. One is the base should be a narrow base, and the collector should be a wide collector region. Another thing, the emitter should be heavily doped to give supply to collector, the carrier supply. So in this way a transistor is being constructed. NPN transistor structure, the collector is lightly doped, the base is thin and lightly doped, the emitter is heavily doped. Here we can see a structure of NPN transistor, where N means it is a emitter is a highly doped. So here we can find out lots of free electrons in the emitter. Base is lightly doped and it is with p-type material, so we can see holes, free holes as a carrier. And in case of the collector, we can see electrons and it is moderately doped. That is why we can see free electron but lesser than the emitter, less concentration than the emitter. So in this way, a transistor, NPN transistor, here you can see a band diagram representation of an NPN transistor. Here we can see a emitter. This is the intrinsic Fermi line with the middle, and it is the equilibrium Fermi after the transistor is being constructed. Equilibrium Fermi is present. It is the n-type material, so the Fermi level lies near to the conduction band. It is the p-type material, so the Fermi level lies near the valence band of the band diagram. And in case of the collector region, here we can see it is nearer to the conduction band. But if we see or watch carefully, we can see the band difference between the Fermi level to the conduction band is quite larger than the emitter, because it is the light, the doping concentration is less than the emitter. The collector region has the doping concentration less than the emitter. That is why if we dope highly, if we dope very large, if the doping concentration is large, then this Fermi level is moved nearer to the conduction band of the n-type semiconductor. And in this case, in case of the collector, the doping concentration is less than the emitter. That is why the Fermi level is quite, the difference between this is quite larger. So it is the important thing we have to keep in mind. So let us move. The transistor configuration. There are three types of configuration of the transistor. One is common collector, common base, and common emitter. That means we can connect the transistor in three different ways to build up a circuit. So first discuss one by one. First, it is the common collector, where the collector terminal is common for both the input and output. So the input signal is applied to the base terminal and the output is taken from the emitter terminal. Collector terminal is common to the input and output of the circuit. So here in the common collector configuration, input is BC, that means base to collector, and output is EC, that means emitter to collector. In case of the common base configuration, in case of the common base, the base terminal is common point for both the input and output. The input is the EB, that means emitter to base, and the output is CB, that means collector to base. In this way, we can connect the common base configuration of the circuit. Another is common emitter configuration. This configuration is mainly used for the amplification factor, or in case of any kinds of amplifier. The common emitter configuration is highly used in electronic circuits. So the emitter terminal is common for the input and the output. So input is BE, that means base to emitter, and output is CE, collector to emitter. Mostly applied practical amplification circuit, since it provides a good voltage and current and power gain. So in this way, we can configure the transistor in three different categories, because the transistor has three terminals, emitter, base, and collector, and making each terminal common, we can get three types of categories: common base, common emitter, and common collector. Each of them has its own characteristics and own properties, so we use them in our circuits as per our requirement. So now comes to the part of operation of the transistor, how the transistor is operated or how the transistor works. It is the NPN transistor, the emitter, the base and the collector. So emitter is highly doped material where the electron concentration is very high. That is why it is the N plus. That means the electron concentration is very high in case of the emitter. In case of the collector, it is moderately doped, so it is N. So before going to the transistor operation, we have to keep in mind the emitter base junction should be in forward bias to get a proper transistor action. The emitter base junction should be forward bias and the collector base junction should be reverse bias. It is the key criteria to get a proper transistor action. The emitter base junction should be forward bias and the collector base junction should be in reverse bias. To make this emitter base junction forward bias, we have to connect this in with negative of terminal of the battery, and we have connect the P base to the positive terminal of the battery. So what happened? The electron flow happens. It is as it is in forward bias. The electron flow happens. Electrons flowing from the emitter goes to the base. And another thing we have to keep in mind, the collector base junction should be in reverse bias. Reverse bias means the N terminal is connected with the positive terminal of the battery. That means all the electrons coming in the collector will be collected and goes to the battery, to this battery, with the help of this collector. So it is the important role of the transistor. That is why the collector region collects the electron coming from the emitter and it's go to the positive terminal of the battery. And as the base region is very thin and it is lightly doped, most of the electrons coming in the forward bias of the emitter base junction comes and it's reach out to the collector and the collector currents flow. The more we forward bias this emitter base junction, more the electron will come to the collector and the collector current also increase. It is the important thing for the transistor, and in this way the transistor operates. So when the transistor can be act as a switch, when the switch is open, all the current goes to the base is zero. That means there is no forward bias of the transistor, so there will be no emitter current and there will be no collector current. In this way the transistor base terminal can be act as a operating terminal. With the help of this base terminal we can operate the collector current as well as the emitter current. The current gain of a base to collector is called the beta. Here we can take an example how the gain can be calculated. If IC is the collector current is 99 milliampere, base current is 1 milliampere and the emitter current is 100 milliampere, then the beta is the gain of the transistor, which can be obtained by 99 by 1, which is 99, which is the forward gain of the transistor. In the Kirchhoff law we can build the equation between the emitter, base and collector current. If the emitter current is equal to the base current and the collector current. So here we can see a mathematical representation of this. In this way we represent the current equation of a transistor of emitter, base and collector terminal. In case of NPN transistor, the whole from emitter to collectors flow. Here we apply some bias. In this way PNP transistor work. So now we take as schematic symbol of transistor. We have to keep in mind the most significant thing is the arrow. It determines whether the transistor is PNP or NPN. We have to memorize that for NPN means not pointing in, that means it's pointing out. So that is why the base region is p-type material and the other two is n-type. In this way we can memorize or simply identify whether the transistor is NPN or PNP by seeing a symbol, schematic symbol. We can identify whether the transistor is PNP or NPN. It is a PNP transistor. Here you can see this is the important thing, NPN transistor, that means pointing in properly, that means it is the NPN transistor. So in this way we can identify and distinguish the NPN and PNP transistor. So that's for today. Thank you for watching. If you have any queries, you can contact to me. The contact number is given. The same number can be used as WhatsApp number. If you have any queries or doubt, you can call me or WhatsApp me to this number. Thank you very much.